Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Black Sails in Dark Skies, a pirate campaign on my channel, Myth and Gears. It's been a while and I'm excited to get started on this. So before we do that, though, I am going to send it to, oh boy, just a second here. Hate when you forget to mute yourself. I'm going to send it to my players, let them introduce themselves and their characters, and then we will begin. The first we have is Baron.
Hello everyone, I'm Baron. I'm on the YouTube channel RWD Gaming, which has been down for the better part of a couple months, but hopefully we will see that coming back soon. I will be reprising my role as Charlatan Charlie, the rightful first mate of the Triton's Folly. I'll digress. I'm here doing the best I can with the face that I got.
All right, next we have Jason. Welcome back, Jason.
Yay! Hi, I'm Jason. I have been absent for a few months for a little change of scenery. We went and bought a house, so glad to be back. I will be reprising my role as Mr. August Sheffley, who has been absent the ship's crew in search of some answers for these horrific beings that we had ran into early on in the campaign. And I'm really looking forward to getting back to it. And this is my familiar Mo.
It is great to have you back, Jason, and hello, Mo. We'll see how long Mo lasts. Maybe longer than Argus, I would say. Next, we have Megan.
Mo is a survivor.
Hi everyone, I'm Megan. I run the YouTube channel Dice on Ice, and today I am playing Nicola King, official and not in anyone's fantasy or mind, or actually in the real world first mate of the ship. So yeah, no animosity at all in this group. So it'll be fun, and I'm really excited to see how this turns out.
I am very excited to see how this turns out as well, with the plethora of first mates that you guys have got going. Next, we have Dave.
Hey folks, Dave. I run a little channel called Mornblade Gaming that is definitely in need of clearing out the cobwebs, but it's there and has some good stuff on it. I am excited to get back with these fine folks, including Jason, and play some high-flying, crazy shenanigans. I will be reprising the role as Ephraim Archibald Ulysses Delaney, and I'm going to say right up front that there will be language, strong language, and might be offensive. So there's that. And I'm excited to see, to figure out what, where exactly he put that hand. Delaney is very curious what happened to his hand. So yeah.
We're all now very curious about what hand you're talking about.
I just had some like brutal flashbacks.
Where's that hand been, Lou?
Last but not least, we have Jeremy.
You just better be careful where he puts his hand. Hi, everybody. My name is Jeremy. I have a YouTube channel as well. This is called the Erasmus Expeditions. I do a lot of live plays and videos about all kinds of different things, mostly about RPGs over there. So go check it out. I'm also 1/3 of the Dudes of Yore podcast, also on YouTube, but that's kind of been on hiatus. hopefully we'll be able to get back to that soon. Tonight, or today, whatever. Who am I to judge what kind of a time frame it is for you when you're watching this? I'm playing Mr. Bronson Fisk, the somewhat newly appointed captain of the Triton's Folly. He doesn't really know what he's doing yet, so that works perfect because I don't really know what I'm doing with Genesis yet. So I am excited to get back to this group. This is always a very, very fun game. It heads in all kinds of unexpected directions, so I'm very excited to see what plot twist is going to happen. So thank you for having me.
Thank you all for being here. And anyone who's listed a channel, you will find the descriptions and links to their channels below. So you should check them all out. They are awesome. As Dave so aptly put it, there will be language and mature themes. So I know. So you are warned. With that, we are going to begin. Previously in Black Sails and Dark Skies, we have seen a small craft that was rigged for flight, though kind of a perilous looking, as it heads off into the distance, disappearing out of sight behind an outcropping of rock. But before it disappears, we can see Argus at the controls and a shackled and unconscious Captain Morneau lying in the bottom of the craft. Also, we have seen Rego attacking Nicola in a church and the subsequent scuffle, which was then brought outside, and Nicola managed to down Rego and escaped with his change purse. We have also seen some blood-scrawled words on the hidden behind the bed where Captain Morneau was recovering. Words that said, "They're coming," in hasty scrawled letters, as well as, "By the light of the blood moon, all will be revealed." And now, as we zoom in on our characters, we see the I guess, somewhat bustling city of Paragon, but now in the morning hours, it is mostly quiet. There are some movings around of the dock, and we zoom in as we see the Triton's Folly with hoisted, I guess, camouflaged colors, if you will, coming in as a merchant ship, going to one of the lower berths, one's closer to the ground, maybe for ease of escape, who knows. But we also see as we zoom in that the streets and the dock areas are unexpectedly filled with Verde Kappa soldiers, more than is normal. And as our crew, sorry, lights off. I am trying to share a picture. There we go. Lights off their boat and steps onto the docks. They are greeted. Did that share? Okay. They are greeted with the sight of a pirate skeleton, the remains of a pirate, hanging in a cage. Sorry. Got too much open here, not finding what I'm doing. And we can tell from this that there's definitely been an uptick in the policing of pirates and anyone to deal with that. So as a group, knowing all of this and where you needed to head to, the university, you've decided that trying to go above ground along the streets was a suicidal mission at best. So instead, you've taken to going through the back streets, trying to get into the sewers themselves, where you know, because of Charlie's contacts, that basically there's like a smuggling, what's the word I'm looking for? Smuggling
Network.
Network, thank you, down below the city. And that is where we will begin. I need you guys to tell me how you are trying to go about these streets of Paragon without being spotted, I guess, by the soldiers that are currently patrolling more often than you've ever seen before.
So, for starters, I think if at all possible, I would have had whoever is handling the Triton's Folly, like basically back us into port instead of going prow first, just so that if we have to escape in a hurry, we don't have to first, reverse engines out of the dock and then turn around. We can just go. But as far as finding our way into the underground passages, I think Bronson is going to just rely on Charlie in this instance. This is Charlie's world.
Charlie is definitely a little bit more confident in his step today, now that we've gotten to his kind of area of expertise. I think that Charlie knows the walk, if you will, how to kind of blend or have those around him walk in a way that they blend as well. It's all just a big lie, because Charlie is obviously the type to garner the attention to himself, but in this instance, he's putting on the good deception.
I think that Nicola maybe kept some of her old clothing from when she was attending the university. Maybe she has like a pin or some sort of defining pieces that would make it seem like she is part of the university, just to help a little bit with the disguise.
I would imagine that Delaney actually took a spit bath this morning, cleaned up his face, because normally he's working with the gunner. He's very, yeah. So he actually smells a little better, and reluctantly, one of the other crewmen splashed him with some sort of cologne, and against his protests, and it's not too overwhelming, but he looks a little cleaner than normal, and his normal limp that he normally walks with is he's walking with a straighter footing and with his back up straight, and following Charlie's lead as best he can, but head on a swivel, paying attention.
So as you are going through these cobbled streets, you hear a patrol coming your way. I would like, we can do this as a group check. So I would like to make I believe it's stealth in Genesis. a stealth check. And as a group, what that means is you'd have one person doing the stealth roll, and for each additional success, that is one other person that they have managed to stealthify, I guess, if you will. So in this case, there's like 4 of you, so you would need to get 4 successes to be completely stealthy.
Would the person who is rolling get any sort of like boost die or anything like that if we're all trying to help them?
Yes, they could get boost dies or potentially setbacks depending on what and how you guys are going about helping the person. So what I need you guys to do is decide who would be leading the role.
Volunteer, if you guys don't mind.
I imagine it's much better than mine. So yes, please.
So this will be a difficulty 2.
Okay.
2 purple. So because of Nicola's description of herself in the clothing that she is in, I will give you a boost die for that. Ephraim and Captain Fisk, how are you?
I think Fisk is... He's gotten like an old like bedcloth, like a cover that was tossed aside and a little dingy and dirty. And he's kind of wearing that kind of over him, almost like a cowl, to kind of try to hide the rest of his attire and his proclivity for remaining clean. This is so that he can at least tone it down a little.
Okay. Charlie, I will give you a boost die for that as well.
Already?
Yeah, I'm trying to think how Ephraim would be useful in this scenario. He's keeping his mouth shut, that's for sure.
That'll do it.
If the captain looks like he is kind of maybe infirm in some way, he's going to maybe take it a step further and act like he's helping him, like he's if you're looking like you're, so it looks like we're just helping someone along.
Okay, that sounds good too. Okay, take another boost die.
You're muted, Baron.
You ready? So many dice. Hold on.
He can't complain about the missing purple die anymore.
No, I cannot.
Notice how I specifically said he only needed 2 though, because I don't want to use it.
4 successes, 2 advantage.
Beautiful. Okay, so you manage to, if you want to be out of sight as they go past, or if they just pass you and don't notice you, but you have succeeded. You can describe how this works, but you have succeeded in not rousing their suspicions. So you can describe to me how that happens.
So as we are walking and see them approaching, like Charlie like bumps into this guy next to him who is carrying pottery of some kind, and the pottery falls, and I keep walking, not like out of pace, but fast enough that when these guards are passing by, the 3 of my companions behind me have like stopped to help this person pick up the pottery, and rather than being helpful, they kind of laugh, kick one of the shards into the road, and keep walking, not really paying attention to those picking up the jars or the broken shards, but more of the unfortunate circumstance that befell one of the citizens of the town.
Nice. having narrowly escaped there, you guys breathe a little bit better. And you find yourselves at the entrance that Charlie was looking for, the sewer entrance that he knows about. And you descend into the sewers themselves. Now, Charlie, you know down in this sewer system, there is kind of like I want to say like a hangout. It's not a pirate hangout necessarily, but it is definitely a hangout for, those, the underbelly of society. It's called the Crypt, and it is down in the sewers themselves. It, as far as would be on the way towards where the university would be. So it's not out of your way to go there if you choose. It would also be, it's definitely where people get together and information is exchanged, as well as, beverages and whatnot. So what do you guys do?
Well, the entrance to where we need to go is that way. Did we want to maybe divide and conquer here? Or should a lot of us go trouncing about the city, making a spectacle of ourselves?
Honestly, I think if we stay together, we run less of a risk of being found. If we split up, one of these patrols is sure to spot one of us. Nicola, Ephraim, do you have thoughts on the matter?
Well, I believe that we do need to stay together. It's we can cover each other's backs that way. Plus, Captain, you helps the ruse, if you will. But yeah, I think we're better off staying with one another.
Nicola would just nod her head, but she would remove like the pin or the cloak or whatever she was wearing to suggest that she was part of the university before, because she doesn't want to get it dirty and gross in the sewers.
I think we're doing a real good job of covering each other's backs already. So, how about we get a drink? An all right fine place for the likes of us.
Drink? Is that prudent?
I mean, I don't know how many people you know here, but I know quite a few that would like to get a drink.
We need to wet the whistle, Captain, especially because we want to fit in even better. And what better way than to be drinking?
I see.
See, they're drinking and they're drinking, and that's at least 5, right?
Very well, then. Lead on, Charles.
All right, watch your steps. It gets a little slick down in the sewers.
So you guys proceed into the sewers, and for the most part, like it's dim and not well lit down here. But for the most part, it is accessible without too much waiting. The network that you're following, the pathways, etc., have been kind of maintained in that unobtrusive maintenance way. So like they're clean, they're transversable, but it doesn't look like they're kept up, if you know what I mean. Like they still look like a sewer system. And eventually you find yourself, maybe after a few wrong turns here and there, because Charlie, it's been a while since you've been here, but you managed to almost directly find the place you're looking for, the crypt. And what you see there is it's almost like it's like a hole in the wall, and you would have missed it if you hadn't have been looking for it. But there is like a panel in the wall. And you know, once you've found it, that this is the door to this place.
Well, everyone, these aren't pirates, right? They wouldn't have like a knowledge intimate to pirates. These are just shady people.
Yeah, so these are just like your underbelly, your like your thieves, your smugglers,
run of the mill.
Yeah,
criminals.
There could be pirates here too. Not that I mean, it's not like it's a pirate port or anything. Like this is a bigger city, but if pirates are going to be in this area, this is where you'll find them, down in here. Like they're not going to be as much up on the street level.
All right, everyone.
But this is not like Port Havern where pirates are everywhere. Yeah.
Do you recall your names I gave you?
No.
All right. Well, for the likelihood that someone will try and fuck us over here in the crypt, which is at least possible, Captain Rickard.
Captain Rickard of the Midas Sails.
Yes, sir. The Midas Sails.
I've got it now.
You were glad a deal?
Yes, glad a deal.
Nicola, you were Doc Fisher. I unfortunately, like touching the facial apparatus mask thing that I'm wearing, will be going by my real name for at least the short duration of our stay. Please, just keep your heads down. See what we can figure out about Argus, I guess, specifically. Perhaps anything else we can get to lead us in the right direction for the things we're looking for. And Charlie turns and gives a sharp couple knocks on this panel.
And there's a moment's hesitation before the panel slides, and you can see behind it now are two glowing blue orbs staring at you. And then you hear this metallic voice. Password.
Is this something that I would know?
Yeah.
Password.
The panel slides back, and you hear a clicks and clacks and some whirring, and then the door kind of indents or goes away from you and then slides to the side.
Really?
Standing, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Nicola would just look at Charlie and just, really? The password is password?
I think the thinking is if you make it this far into the sewers anyway, you should at least get a drink. I, not me. I didn't do it.
Well, it's probably spelled in a unusual phrasing so that if you get a note, it doesn't look like password, right? That makes sense to me, at least.
Well, you see, originally you would have to burp into the panel.
Oh, I can do that.
It smelled like.
Do we still need to do that?
No,
I can. Oh, okay. I can muster a burp if you need.
Did that away 8-10 years ago, thankfully.
Here we go. Door's now open.
Standing in front of you is this 6-foot tall metal clockwork. He looks you up and down before standing to the side and allowing you entry.
At ease, gentlemen. Slipping past him.
How unusual of a sight is this for us?
Well, I'll let you guys decide how familiar you guys are with clockwork.
Okay, so like, as far as like the city goes, what percentage of the populace would be this kind in a place like Paragon?
So in Paragon itself, they would have used clockwork for the last probably few decades, mostly as like servants and, in the factories, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe the last decade, though, you've now seen clockwork out on their own, not necessarily working specifically for any one person. So I'm thinking clockworks probably aren't unknown to you, but how familiar you are with ones that are not owned is,
Okay.
I'll leave that up to you.
Well, blimey, aren't you a beaut? He's like eyeing him up and down. Look at the craftsmanship. Have you ever seen this, Nicola?
Yes, they're everywhere at the university.
Amazing. Well, first time for me. Look at even the deadlights are glowing. As he's walking by,
Yeah, Fisk kind of eyes this thing kind of a little bit from a distance, kind of looking it up and down as well, and then just kind of giving an uncertain nod before continuing into this place.
Yeah, it does definitely looks pretty formidable. It's big. Like not only is it tall, but it's also bulky, right? So you can only imagine the power that it would have behind it. And as you walk into the crypt, you see a scene that is almost like any other bar, tavern that you have stepped in before. It's loud. There's many tables occupied with all sorts of walks of life, like none that you would say would be like high society. This is definitely the dregs, the underbelly. And Charlie, as you walk in, your eye catches a man sitting at the table by himself, and you recognize him as basically like your contact that you have seen multiple times when you've been in the city before. What is his name?
Sliverjack.
So as you catch the eye of Sliverjack and he recognizes you, he stands up from his table and he kind of yells across the bar, "Charlie! It's been ages! Come."
All right, Jack. That it has. I think I had more of a face the last time I seen you.
Righto, I think so. You are looking As horrible as ever, Charlie. Come, sit down.
Flatter me. I would turn and look to my party and kind of like shrug mildly and sit down with this guy.
What can we get you to drink? And at that, he's going to flag down one of the tavern wenches, we'll say, and call her over.
I'll take 5 shots of rum. Give me a bottle of rum. And what do you guys want?
You know I'll be having the rum.
2 bottles of rum.
A glass of port, if you have it.
She looks at you, kind of raises her eyebrow a little bit, but then nods. And you, miss?
I will also have some rum, but not a full bottle. Thanks.
Be right back, my loves. And she would disappear towards the bar itself. And as soon as she leaves, Jack would turn to you, Charlie. What brings you to this place? It's gotten really rough upstairs. The Verticappas are everywhere.
Well, Jack, you know, with the ebb and flow of the tide, what goes out must eventually come back in. Between you and me, I'd rather not have ever come back here, but it seems that, well, the fates had other things in mind. Charlie has been favoring his right hand, at least keeping it out of sight. Heard anything strange?
There's so much.
All right, you may think I mean odd occurrences, but I'm speaking strange, unexplainable.
Well, no. Can't say that I have unexplainable, but I will have you know that there are things moving about. There are, well, let's just say it's got everybody in an uproar, and I'm surprised actually to see you here. It is quite the dangerous times we're having. The Verticappas have, well, they're arresting and executing anyone they suspect of piracy or harboring pirates.
Well, shit, this place ain't got very much longer then. 'Cause I can count 24 people that I know for sure have committed at least 30 plus crimes in this bar alone.
Sorry, I just lost a lot of, my computer just did weird things. Sorry about that. I think at this point too, Sliverjack is looking at your compatriots, and his eyes fall on Ephraim. And they linger for a little bit. And it's at this point too, Ephraim, that you realize that you actually have met this guy before. And just as that light is dawning on you, he's like, I know you, sir.
You know me. Well, how do you know me? I mean, I am well renowned for my skill, of course. I mean, they're well, Fisk here. I mean, sorry, Captain has been quite the gentleman, and he's seen all of my skills. But how do you know me?
You were in the carnival, weren't you?
The carnival.
With Stitch.
Well, done some things at times. I mean, I don't think I fall in the category of what Charlie was speaking of earlier, because, you know, some of us are better than us. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
I was innocent.
I was innocent too. Yeah. But that's definitely where speaking of Stitch, you know, somebody broke him out. Somebody broke him out.
Somebody broke him out.
Mm-hmm. Out of the carnival.
That's very good to hear. How long ago was this?
About a month back.
So he's been out a month. Have you heard from him?
Well, this is where the story gets a little bit, if you will, takes a dour turn. It says that the person that broke him out was none other than, sorry, my brain is, was none other than, I lost my notes with the name.
Oh, I hate it when that happens.
1 second.
Hey, folks, while you're watching, take a minute to go down to the links below, and you can click on the links for all of these fine people's different YouTube channels. There's some really great content.
Captain Suspense.
Captain Jack Copper. And
I don't think that Copper could have done that.
Yeah, and as soon as you kind of say the name Fisk, you know that this man has got a very bad reputation. Even in the pirate world, he is not considered a very nice sort. And the man says, yeah, seems he wasn't taking him, rescuing him, if you will. If the word on the street is right, he tortured the poor man. Tortured and killed him.
He fucking killed him.
That's what they say.
Well, that's a right cunt. Well, and at that point, he's sort of thinking about it. It hits him, and he looks over at Nicola, and he just he doesn't know what to say. He just kind of stiffens for a moment, and he kind of deceptively reaches over and puts his hand on hers, like in a friendly sort of way, based on the conversation that he had with her before. But he doesn't want it to be like so obvious.
You can see that she gives you this quick glance. And with that quick glance, you can see the emotions in her, just like this, almost like confusion, mostly, but some sort of almost like anguish, sadness. But she would just suddenly also pull her hand away, but you can see that her back is straight and stiffened.
So Ephraim turns back to the guy. What was his name? Sliverjack. Sliverjack. And he just carries on. He says, well, that's got to be fixed. Do you know anything more about the copperhead?
No, just if he went through all the trouble to break the guy out and torture him, guy must have had something he valued.
Yeah. Sliverjack. I think it's coming back to me. You were the one that used to do favors, right? You could smuggle certain notes. Yeah.
For a price.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you now. You did a right good deed on a couple occasions, and you did a fuck job on a couple of them, but, well, it balances out. Can't fault a man for his past.
I think it's about this time that the tavern wench comes back with your drinks. And she puts down the bottle in front of Ephraim, the bottle in front of Charlie, the glass of port in front of Captain Fisk, and a mug of in front of Nicola. And as she turns to go, you notice that Sliverjack kind of gives her a look and a slight nod before she disappears.
Insight check. I don't think we have insight, but
Perception.
ooh, I'm good at that one.
So that'll be a difficulty 2.
Okay. I like Genesis because I get to roll lots of dice. 3 for advantage.
0 success.
I got my failure and success killed each other.
Okay, so
I see a lot of things.
yeah, but you don't know
What that meant.
Yeah, maybe he was just nodding for her for like, good job, thank you. That was well deserved.
I think just seeing it would kind of put me on edge just because he's my contact. I don't think I necessarily trust this guy.
Mm-hmm.
What the intent behind it was, I'm not sure, but whoever is sitting next to me, I will like put my arm around the back of their chair just as like an attempt to look like I'm getting more comfortable. But I want to say that was like a key word that was mentioned earlier to pay attention to whatever the hell happens next.
Okay, and whose chair would you have been sitting beside?
I would imagine that I'm probably sitting next to Charlie because I know him the most.
I would agree.
But I mean, it was a nod of like, I don't know if I read into that. But so if you put your arm around the back of the chair, I'm gonna slide my chair out and say, I got to take a piss. Where's the piss wall?
And Sliverjack looks at you kind of, he doesn't even really, what's the word I'm looking for? He concerned or anything. He doesn't look concerned at all. And he just kind of motions towards one of the back of the corners of the room. You can see
I'll
archway.
fucking find it. And he starts walking away. But as he does so, he starts moving toward the crowd once he's a little ways away toward the bar wench. And he walks up behind her, and
I would like you to make me a perception check, please. And this will be difficulty of 3.
So it's 3 purple?
Yeah.
Okay, the bullseye thing is a disadvantage, or
Yeah, threat.
okay, so I got 4 threat and an advantage. So I guess the advantage breaks out, so I got 3 threat.
So I think what happens is you have lost her in the crowd, like you don't know where she went. And in the process, you've actually jostled somebody and spilled their drink.
Oh, pardon me. What were you drinking there? Let me make this right.
And the guy, of course, he turns around and he's like immediately angry until you say, like, what you drinking? I'll make this right. And he's like, you could see that he is about to slug you. I want you to make me a charm check.
Can I make a coercion instead? Not yet.
Well, you were trying to be polite, so I'm thinking it would be charm.
Okay. Charm is presence.
And it's going to be... Okay. So in this case, don't roll any purples, just roll your charm.
Okay.
Ooh.
It's a wash.
Okay, he got 4 successes. It shouldn't be a wash
Okay.
because you're just should be rolling your charm.
Right, but it came up blank, so that's...
Oh, all blanks? Oh, nasty. Okay, so he is not buying the fact that you want to make it right. This did not soothe the savage beast. So he is going to try to punch you. So do you have any defense in melee?
I have 1 in melee, so
Is it from
I
your
have a collapsible baton.
Okay. So is it the one that's giving you the defense? Like if you don't have it out, do you have the defense? Okay.
Well, I don't know. I have 1 rank in melee, so I don't think I have defense other than just what I'm wearing, which is I have 1 soak.
Okay. There should be like a box up at the top that says your defense ratings for ranged and melee. And normally there's 0 unless you have some sort of equipment that gives you.
Yeah, I do not have that, so...
Okay, so he is just going to hit you. Okay, so he succeeds to punching you, but with 2 threat. So in this case, he just got the 1 success. So you're just going to take 2 wounds.
Okay, wounds?
Yeah, 2 wounds as he punches you. But in the process, he's actually knocked somebody else. And
nice.
Yeah, so now they are fighting. And you can take this momentary respite to leave if you'd like to.
Well, I'm going to take a moment to just look. As I'm looking at him, I want to make sure I get a visual in my head of what he looks like. I just kind of mumble something like fucking cunt. And so I'm walking away and looking for the bar winch again.
Okay. So we are going to go back to the table at this point. So Ephraim has gotten up and left. And Sliverjack, he leans in again to you, Charlie. You never did say what you're here for. With all the Verticappa troubles, I'm surprised you'd even come back here.
Well, like I said, we're here for information. Primarily on a person of interest to me and my friends here. Might have came into port last week or so. He had a girl with him. Captain Morneau, ring a bell?
At this point, okay, so he's going to tell you, no, it doesn't at all. But roll a vigilance, please.
What's the difficulty?
No, just it's going to be
ability.
like a pose check. So he's rolled for his deception at this point. So
2 success, 2 advantage.
okay, so he got 2 successes. So you know he's lying. Not about what, but he's not telling you everything when you mention this.
I'm gonna kind of like rim my finger around the bottle that I'm drinking. You know, Sliverjack, you're not a very good lawyer.
Listen, I don't want to get into this. I don't want to be in the middle of this. This Captain Morneau is why the Verda Kappa are all up in arms.
You're not getting in it if you tell me what's going on, mate.
She stole something from them.
I thought she was one of them.
He looks at you and laughs. Oh, God, man. No, she was one of us. She stole from the Verda Kappas. They've run out after her, and the ship that went after hasn't returned.
What did she steal?
At this, he looks extremely uncomfortable, and he looks around the room. You can see that he's trying to make sure that nobody is within earshot or is paying attention. And he leans even further in, and he whispers, "They say she stole the world's heart."
The world's heart.
Heart.
Is this something that we've heard of before?
No.
No?
What? 1 second. Nicola, the change purse that you took off of Rego, did you ever open it?
Yeah, definitely. I think she would have when things were calm and she was alone.
So inside, you found some meager coins of his, but you also found a piece of paper and some strange mechanical device. You are not sure what this thing is or how it works. It seems to bend and swivel. But the piece of paper actually had the words "the world's heart" written on it.
Okay. At this point, she would shake her head as well in front of the other guy, saying that she doesn't know anything either.
What is the world's heart? Fisk kind of lowers his voice to match.
I don't know. And you can make a vigilance check if you would like.
Vigilance. It's will 2. Okay. It's 3 advantages, no successes.
Okay. He is, as far as you can tell, telling you the truth. He has no idea what this thing is. I don't know, but whatever it is, it has to be pretty powerful for them to send that ship out after her.
I'd say so. Charles, this Captain Copper, are you getting involved? Are you getting us involved with Captain Jack Copper?
You've been here the whole time. I'm not getting us involved in anything. I'm asking about Argus. It was Ephraim that brought him into this.
Well, we need to play careful. So have you seen this captain or no? He turns back to the Sliverjack.
And again, he looks very uncomfortable, and he actually looks around at that. And Ephraim, at this point, you see that same tavern wench come out of a door that leads to like a back room or something. And she actually doesn't see you, and she starts walking towards the table where Silverjack is sitting with your party members.
Okay, so I walk up behind her. I mean, it's a loud tavern. I'm not creeping up. Walk up and I just kind of touch her on the arm to get her attention.
Excuse me, lass. I didn't
Yes.
catch your name the first time.
She just laughs. Rosalind, but what can I do for you, love?
Such a pretty name. Well, I was just wondering, I thought that I asked for an ale in addition to my rum. Can we get that? Because I am quite parched and I really need an ale.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll bring
I
it right
appreciate
to
that. I'll come with you because it's a need of mine, if you understand my meaning. He starts kind of walking toward her like they're going toward the bar, like he's taking her there.
And she walks to the bar. She's like, sir, seriously, go sit down. I'll bring it right out.
Oh, well, while you're at it, I look like you had something for Sliverjack. I'd be happy to bring that over to him.
So she looks at you kind of, what's what I'm looking for, like suspicious, like, but she in fact hands you 2 glasses of ale. One for you, one for Sliverjack. Thank you. And then she turns her back on you.
Hold a moment.
He leans over and he says,
Are you sure that was all?
and he's kind of grinning with that predatory look, though. Coercion now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Against how many purple?
She just rolls
Or blue.
hers. You just roll
Okay.
your, yeah.
Okay, so that is 4 successes.
Oh yeah, you beat her. You definitely, she turns around like slowly, and then she sees you looming over her, and immediately you can see the fright in her eyes.
And I kind of wink.
It's all right. Just let it out.
I can't tell you.
Oh,
Only
yes,
tell
you
him.
can. I've got very tight ears, if you know what I mean.
And she looks extremely uncomfortable, and I think she's almost trying to look past you towards the table where Sliverjack is sitting. I tell him they're here.
I tell you what. He reaches into his pouch and he pulls out, to soften the blow a little. What is it? Two gold?
2 crown.
Okay. He slides 2 crown across the table to her.
She tentatively like reaches out and grabs them, and she looks at where
Actually, as she's going to grab him, I put my hand on top of hers.
her eyes widen, and she looks towards where Sliverjack would be sitting. I was just supposed to tell him that, let him know when they were here.
Who's here?
I don't know who they are, but they're here. Let him know they're here.
Very good. Friends of his, I take it?
I don't rightly know. I guess so.
You've done a good thing tonight, Rosalind. If you keep this up, I think you've got a long life ahead of you. Keep shining, you beautiful diamond, as he turns around and raises a mug to her and takes a sip.
I think she grabs those crowns, and her hands are visibly shaking as she puts them away. You don't quite see where she puts them in her outfit, but they disappear.
He says, "That's a good lass," and he starts making his way back to the table.
So just as as Sliverjack was starting to look around and looking uncomfortable when you were talking to him, Ephraim approaches the table.
And as I come up, I actually act like I stumbled into somebody, and I spill his ale onto him, making him get up, I would think.
Yeah, he gets up, and you can see momentarily like a flash of anger, which is quickly replaced by a jovial nature. Like,
Sliverjack, my apologies. You know what? I've only lipped it a couple times. Here, take mine. And he just pushes it into his hand and puts it around him. And by the way, your friends are here. How does that make you feel? And he puts his hand behind his neck and grips him right at the base of his neck. Rosalind passed on the word.
and he tries to look towards Rosalind, where she would be. How tight have you gripped him? Like, can he move his head at all?
He can move from side to side, but I've got him in the meaty paw so that I'm imagining that I would have an athletics check if I just take the other hand and grab him.
Yeah, you can tell he's trying to look to where she is. So whether you let him see her,
Okay.
like
I start pushing, easing him down in the chair, and I just say, and I stand behind him and clap him on the shoulders, and he's like, "That's right. Now tell Mr. Fisk, I'm sorry, the captain, what we're dealing with here."
and he looks at you, Charlie. They're not my friends, but they are here to see you.
That's a good boy. And he's gripping his shoulders almost painfully at this point.
And he winces.
Well, I think that it'd be time for us to leave then.
Who are they?
I think he hesitates to talk, and I can only imagine that Ephraim, you squeeze a little bit harder, and then he kind of winces. Is like, I want to talk to you about your the friend that you're looking for.
Liver de Kappa?
No, the one that came with the woman.
Seems like Argus has been here.
Perhaps we should meet with them. We need to find Argus.
From the sounds of it, so do they. And I don't think they can lead us in any better direction than we're already going. Between you, me, and that piece of shit that just sold us out, I'd rather not find out who it is.
It could be that they have additional information about his whereabouts that we do not have. The knowledge that we have, as well as what they possess, might be enough to find him.
You're the captain.
Is there... Nicola would turn to Charlie. Is there some sort of back room? I'm sure if we went in there, they would be more than willing to follow us. They still think that they have the jump.
And at this point, the man sitting, Sliverjack, he's like, he kind of tenses a little bit. He's like, Charlie, we go way back. They're in the back room. They're waiting for you. And he tries to like shrug off Ephraim. Like he's trying to like make it a little bit more comfortable.
I just start massaging his shoulder.
It's like, they've got
Oh.
your man.
He comes with us. Fisk says to Charlie.
You would hear the click of the hammer of our flintlock. Oh, he's definitely coming with us.
Oh, Sliverjack. You're a good messenger today.
Shall we? He kind of grabs him by the collar and starts helping him up.
Sliverjack would be much obliged to help a good friend such as myself find this back room, wouldn't you, Sliverjack?
Back room's right there. And he kind of moves as he can with Ephraim still, massaging his neck. He's like, it's right through there.
I would actually like clink the gun against the metal faceplate I'm wearing. Oh, these old eyes don't see very well, Sliverjack. Lead the way, please. I insist.
To make it look a little more believable as we start walking, I put my arm around him like I'm kind of drunk and I'm walking with him. We're in a tavern. People do this sometimes. He's kind of walking the whole, so that he's got control over.
Yeah, and he does not resist, and he will lead you toward the door. But before you get there, he stops and he turns to you, Charlie. He's like, Charlie, I mean it. We go way back. They're in there. They have your friend. Just be warned.
Oh, I'm quite sure that I feel that I have my friend too, and I'll also clasp his shoulder. Now show me the warning. Go ahead. We go back. Now open the fucking door.
And I kind of start just moving him that direction.
Okay, so he will open the door. It's like, I warned you. And as he opens the door, you see inside a captain who I believe, I'm not sure if any of you would actually know him by sight, but maybe. Let's roll. Let's make it a streetwise, I think. That was probably the most appropriate. Streetwise check, difficulty 2.
So I got 1 success and 3 threats.
1 success, all up.
Okay. So the threats really aren't going to apply very much here in this case. So those of you who succeeded on the roll, I'm just trying to share. When you see this man, you recognize him as Captain Blackguard, another infamous pirate. Standing with him, almost by his side, is Captain Morneau. And she looks clean and almost healthy again. She looks like she has been well taken care of. There is also probably at least half a dozen crew members. And they're kind of standing, throughout the room, and there's like maybe 3 in a corner. And just out of sight in the corner, you can see the boots of somebody, probably trussed up on the floor. And the captain looks at you. He actually, Captain Fisk, I hear it is. Good to make your acquaintance. Come in. Let us parley. I believe we have some negotiations we want to take care of.
Quick question on layout. How big is the room and how far in is he?
He would be towards the back of the room. I would say the room is probably, it's a fair size, like a 30 by 20 room. And he's sitting at this table towards the back with Captain Morneau sitting beside him.
Are there any other exits in and out of the room?
Yes. Yeah. Behind them, actually.
Okay. Does it look like, just knowing from the layout of the building, would the presumption be that it leads outside?
You are in the sewers, so.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fisk will step into the room, and he'll pull the cowl blanket thing that he's been wearing kind of off, and kind of just let it fall to the floor. Is there a place for him to sit?
Absolutely. Yeah. There's like, it's almost like they were expecting you. There is 4 chairs in front of the table that the other 2 are sitting at.
And he will approach and he'll sit in one of the chairs. Captain Blackguard, is it?
Yes.
Hello, Captain Morneau. It's a pleasure to see you again.
And she just kind of looks at you. The pleasure is all yours.
Quaint. Argus, is that you?
And there comes a sound that's a little bit muffled.
Fisk kind of looks back at Captain Blackguard with a, like, really? Is this necessary?
And he kind of gives like that, look back. You have something that I'm interested in procuring. And we have something of yours. And at that, the 3 guards in front of the man on the floor kind of step aside, and you've got now full view of the fact that there is Argus sitting on the floor, trussed up and gagged.
What exactly is it that we have that you are interested in, Captain?
Seems you took something that like rightfully belongs to my lady friend here. And he nods toward Captain Morneau.
I think we can all agree that if it was taken on the seas, in the air, that it was not belonging to anyone.
You may be right, but we've taken something of yours as well.
Well, to be fair, we don't really want him.
Is that cunt you've been talking about? I don't think he deserved it, but still.
What I'm offering is a fair exchange. You give us what we are looking for, You return to us what you have taken from Captain Morneau, and we will return to you, mostly unhurt, your Mr. Sheffley.
You see, Captain, you discuss wanting a fair trade. However, it's impossible to judge whether this is a fair trade without seeing what sits on the other side of the scales. I'm afraid you're going to have to be a little more blunt.
And he looks at you. Is it true that you don't even know what you took? How could this be? And he turns to Captain Morneau and is like, what are we dealing with? She's like, I know. I tried to talk to them, but they would not listen. Not one word would they hear from me.
We have taken a great many things, Captain. If you are more specific with what it is that belonged to Captain, well, forgive me, I suppose you're not a captain anymore.
I am more of
Miss
the captain
Morneau.
than you are. Just because you have a ship does not mean anything.
That's
do believe
actually-
that is exactly.
I was going to say, Fisk, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what that means. Is
Yes, I'm pretty certain.
And she kind of ignores the fact that you said this because technically you're true, but she doesn't care. It's like, it is a package that you took from my rooms there. Have you even looked at it?
Well, to be fair, you still haven't said what it is.
I'm certain it has been catalogued, but again, there was a great many things that we took from your ship. So,
Imbeciles. It is the world's heart. See what I am dealing with? I've been dealing with this entire time. She turns to Blackguard there.
Well,
he
don't
just
get me
kinda
wrong
chuckles.
here. You act like this is something that everyone knows about it. This is like the third time I've ever even heard the word.
You're not very familiar with hearts, are you?
Evidently not, as much as I know the world. I didn't know it had a heart, per se, or that one could take it.
Mm-hmm.
You have stumbled in on something you know nothing of, and things bigger than you.
And no one really seems too keen on sharing this information on what it is exactly that's happening.
I tried, but you would not listen. Instead, you had him, and she points to the figure on the floor. You had him steal and take me. And at that, she holds up her hand. And not only that, but hurt me. And you can see that she is now missing a finger, and it is bandaged.
Oh, he defiled you?
Instead of listening or even trying to talk, you immediately go and have me kidnapped. For what? I don't know. So you tell me, who doesn't want to talk to who?
Well, I don't think there's a whole lot of finger pointing coming around, and I just don't seem to correlate. We didn't have you kidnapped. We had you in the best room in the ship.
You were a guest.
Slept. Go ahead.
Sorry. You were a guest under Captain Fisk.
Is that how you treat guests? You knock them out, you steal their finger, you take them away, trying to use them as leverage?
You assume that Captain Fisk was aware of this.
He's not a good captain, aware of everything going on in his ship.
Even the greatest captain is not a mind reader.
But he is in charge of his men.
Says the captain that lost hers.
But at least I knew what they were doing. Makes me a better captain.
Yeah,
that makes it even worse.
Losing.
You lost. You lost. This isn't even up for discussion.
Nevertheless, it is not the worth of the captain that is at stake here. It is his honor, and if he didn't know about it, then he didn't know about it.
Quick question. While this is going on,
since it's not, I'm just making obviously peanut gallery statements as we're going along, but he's bringing Sliverjack in front of him. You said the guards stepped away from Argus?
Yeah, they did. They stepped so that they were no longer blocking him from view. So they're still there, but yeah. And also as you entered the room, you can see like there was like the half a dozen in front of you, 3 in the corner where Argus was, other 3 throughout the room. But as you came in the room, you could also see that there are 2 more flanking the door that you came through.
Okay. I would like to start moving forward with Sliverjack slowly while they were talking and try to get closer to Argus and the guards.
You can approach them, but as soon as you get probably 5 feet away at least, it looks like their hands go to their swords and they stand at attention and they are watching you. You're not going to get any further without provoking them.
Hold up my hand and just continue listening to the conversation as I'm watching for an opportunity for them to pay more attention to the conversation.
If it is a trade that you wish, we need to know the object that we are to trade to you.
The
You can
world's hard.
belittle us. You can belittle us all you wish, but it does not hurry along our negotiations. We need to know what is in our possession.
And with that, stop sharing. So at this point, I believe Captain Fisk, you are the only one to really have seen this, as you are the one who found it and immediately turned it to Captain Gruben. But the object that she describes to you kind of jogs your memory slightly of something that you found.
Do I know what Captain Gruben did with it?
I believe you would have found it in amongst like probably a safe drawer or something that
Okay.
in your time now that you've gone through all of the stuff in the captain's quarters, you would have found where he had stashed it.
Okay. So after she has described it, he says, yes, that was something we discovered and was given to the previous captain before he was killed.
So now you know what I am talking about.
Aye. You wish to trade this strange device for Argyle's life.
We.
Remove his gag.
And one of the crewmen look to Blackguard almost like for permission, and Blackguard just kind of nods. And so that one guard bends down and pulls off the gag of Argus.
I immediately spit in his face.
And he will immediately backhand you.
Argus, are you fit?
Argus groans a bit and coughs up a mouthful of blood and spits it on the onto the floor. Don't do it.
Seems you have mistreated my man.
Yeah, I won't say that I haven't, Blackguard said. But that mouth of his, he deserved it.
That may be the case, but it does not change the fact that you are bringing damaged goods to the trade table. You have lessened the value of my man. Therefore, what you see as being balanced, I do not.
I take it as already reparations for, and he points to Captain Morneau's hand. Damage is already done.
Captain, if I may, please allow me to see him. To check for his injuries. I am the ship's surgeon.
You asked this of Blackguard?
Yeah.
And he looks at you. And he motions to one of the guys behind him, not one of the ones around Argus, but one of the ones behind him on the other side. Frisk her.
She would just kind of like roll her eyes, and she would just take out, she doesn't really have a lot. She has just one dagger that she would take off and hand to Captain Fisk. The rest I have on me is all medicine.
You will understand if I don't take your word for that. Frisk her. And so this big guy is going to come over to you and immediately paw you, whether you resist or not resist. He doesn't seem to do a terribly good job of it, though. He's mainly looking for weapons. So if you have something small that you're trying to hide.
She does have a flask of poison with her. Like a small vial that, yeah,
I think that's not what he's looking for. He's looking for guns, swords, daggers.
Big things.
Yeah, she has nothing like that on her.
Yeah, so he gives you like this quick pat down, and then he nods towards the captain, and then he proceed.
Does that put it obviously changes around the guard like positions? Does it make it so that there's maybe more of a visible opening?
So now there would be the three still around Argus, and then there's now just two on the other side because the other guy came to the front of the table where you were, and then there's still the two at the door you guys walked through.
What about, is that where they were, or sorry, where they were, is that the other exit that was behind them? So now there's
the other exit is like almost right behind where Blackguard and Morneau are sitting. It's almost like directly behind them. So the three guards that were on the opposite side of Argus would have been kind of spaced out on the wall, I guess, behind them on the, let's say, for their right side, where Argus is on their left side in the corner, with three guards that are much more closely around him. They've spread so that you can see Argus, but they are not leaving him alone.
okay. So Nicola is going to approach Argus and begin just kind of like probing him for wounds, not really looking at him. So what she wants to do, she wants to try and find a way to loosen his bindings.
Ooh.
Yes. Without notice.
Skullduggery check. Without notice, I'm going to give you a setback. This is also going to be difficult. So 3 purples.
I'm going to use my brilliant Do we have story points?
You do. You have 5 currently.
Yeah. So I'm going to use a story point during the next check I make, which is this check. I can use it equal to my intellect. So I would assume it's from her studying all the different types of rope knots and everything like that.
Absolutely. So what is it? It gives you what, successes, or no, or it allows you to use your intellect?
Yeah, so for, like my cunning is 2, but it will allow me to use my intellect, which is 4.
Oh, perfect. Nice.
Yeah. I'm just sorry, I'm just checking to see if there's anything else that I can.
Argus is hoarsely whispering, hoping that Nicola can hear me. Distraction. Distraction.
Okay, so I got 1 threat and 3 advantage.
So threats and advantage cancel, so that would leave you with 2 advantage. You got no successes or fails? Or are they
I
canceled?
did get 1 success, and I got 1. It's like the 3 in the circle on the setback die.
Okay, that's a threat. The circle with the 3 is a threat.
Okay.
So
yeah.
the X's are fails.
Okay. Sorry, I'm using a different thing, and it doesn't.
Oh, okay.
doesn't tell me. Sorry. Okay. So yes, sorry, that is 2 advantage.
Okay, and then everything else cancels out?
Yeah.
Okay, so you are unable to loosen his bindings. Yeah. But you have 2 advantage that you can describe and decide what you'd like to do with those.
Since she's unable, with the advantage, would
one of the examples of spending 3 advantages is disable opponent or gear instead of damage.
Yeah, I only have 2.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I misheard you.
Yeah, no, I thought but one of them canceled. So, yeah.
Okay, how about we say, while you are down there trying to loosen his knots and not succeeding, you notice out of the corner of your eye a silver figure. It's small, and it scuttles into the room and across the floor towards Captain Blackguard. So you notice this while you're down there. Just give me a second. All my windows closed earlier. And
like a human-sized silver?
No.
Or like a
small size. I'm just about sharing it here. And just as you are noticing it, why won't it let me share? And while you are down there, all of a sudden, Captain Blackguard, he kind of looks down at his feet, and he's like, this silver cat is kind of rubbing up against his legs, and he's like, "Oh, get your infernal pet away from me!" And he kind of tries to kick it, and he's looking to you, Captain Fisk. Why would you bring your animal in here?
I'm not certain what you're speaking of. I don't think Fisk saw it. So he's completely like taken off guard.
And I think at this point, Blackguard would again kick whatever he's talking about under the table. And then you feel something rub up against your legs.
He'll look down, kind of wince.
And you see this thing looking up at you.
This isn't mine.
If it's not yours, then whose is it?
I'm not sure. Listen, getting this device, this world's heart, will take some time. Do you wish to come back to our ship to retrieve this device, or should we go get it and come back? What would you prefer?
We will come with you. And it's at this point, Mr. Fisk, Captain Fisk, that you kind of hear a tick, 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 tick coming from your feet. And we are going to stop right there for a break.
Oh boy.
Take a little bio break, 5 minutes or so. We will see you in a little bit.
Messed up. Bitch is about to blow me up.
Yeah, I know Delaney was probably, you could almost see his knee kind of like coming up a little bit, like he's looking at you two going like, oh, do we need to release the whirlwind?
I was thinking about it, but we are sorely outnumbered. There's what, four of us? Well, 5 once we get Argus free.
Yeah, but we're big
It's
damn
8.
heroes, so
It's true, but that's a nasty situation to get clear of. And that's if nobody from the rest of the bar comes and joins. But it'll be fun.
yep.
So what would knowledge of like explosives and that kind of thing fall under, Karen? And when you like, if something's ticking, does it have the same connotation to our characters that it does to us as players? You're muted.
Of course I am. Probably.
Okay.
Probably. Maybe not. Maybe even more so, actually, than what we would.
Okay.
Yeah.
So explosives are fairly common.
Yes.
And something like a clockwork.
Now, would you say that a gunner might have some knowledge of how much gunpowder might be in that thing and know how much damage it might be?
Yes. And also, I believe you guys have had what I'm trying to find what they're called.
Grenades?
Yeah, the clockwork grenades. I believe
Yes.
you guys have had a few of them, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So I think the sound is very similar to what one of those sounds like.
Okay, cool. Now, I have 3 grenades written down, but I can't remember, are there different kinds of grenades that we have been finding, or is everything that we have found clockwork?
So far, they have only been these clockwork grenades.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, I have 3 of those, so I'm sure I know exactly what this is. So,
Oh, God. He's got the clockwork.
Yeah, and so just to kind of put it in perspective as well, your clockwork grenades are probably about that big. And this is something the size of an actual cat.
yeah. It's a big boom. Big bada boom.
Big bada boom.
Big bada boom. Chicken, good.
I saw an advertisement for a movie just the other day. It has her as the bad guy, so I'm kind of excited for that.
Right on. Have you heard her music?
Mm-mm.
It's good stuff.
Doesn't surprise me. She's a pretty talented person.
Mm-hmm. Little Phoebe, what are you doing?
Who was that?
Mila Jovovich.
Just seen this thing that they're like in a lot of trouble for the last Resident Evil movie.
Really?
Yeah, I guess one of the stunt people got their arm cut off.
Oh,
my.
shit.
Yeah. Like their attempt to make these movies as profitable as possible and led to some unsafe work conditions.
Well,
Yeah.
not that that's terrible, but it's not as bad as The Twilight Zone.
The
Back
show?
when they filmed the
Oh.
movie, somebody died during one of the, you know how they have different things in the movie? Well, there was a helicopter accident and somebody died in it.
Well, just like 2 or 3 years ago, there was a stunt person who died. I can't remember what movie it was, but it was a motorcycle stunt, and something happened with the motorcycle, and it crashed into the front of an office building.
Oh, God.
So, I mean, that kind of stuff, unfortunately, it doesn't happen all the time, but it happens a lot more than you think.
Yeah, I feel like
Sad,
that's
but
an
I mean-
inherent risk to that job. You know?
Yeah. That's what I was about to say. That
They're not
it's
called
really
safe.
unfortunate, but it's a
Man.
dangerous job.
It is.
I mean, if it was safe, wouldn't the actors themselves do it?
Sometimes they do.
Yeah, I mean,
If they
Yeah.
can convince the insurance company to let them.
yeah, that's another thing.
Jason Lee.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise is infamous about that.
My boy Jackie Chan.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, I think he's gotten to the point where he can't shoot those kinds of movies anymore.
Shit, the
No,
man's old as hell.
yeah. Damn, for his age, he still's got some.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, he was in movies with Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
All right. Let's blow the top on this thing. I'm sure it's just
All
a
right.
clock.
Argus is going to pull his flintlock and throw this guy into the other guys then.
Yes, we are.
I mean, Ephraim. I know who I am.
I apologize for calling your character the wrong name earlier, Jason.
It's okay. Argyle.
Argus, Argyle, you know.
Well, he kind of looks like Argyle right now, the way he's trussed up. Got the pattern going. All right, so we are all back. You guys are in this 20 by 30 room. There are Captain Blackguard and Captain Morneau sitting across the table from Captain Fisk. Nicola is in the corner, kind of squatting over Argus's body. Well, I guess not really body. His person. 3 guards around them. There is 3 guards on the other side of the room, like the other side of the table. The one that had frisked Nicola would have moved back over there. There's still the 2 at the door, which is now closed once you all went in. And we have Ephraim, who still has Sliverjack in front of him. And so, Charlie, where are you standing about this? We haven't kind of established that.
I figure that I'm like next to Captain Fisk since he took the forefront in the conversation.
Are you standing behind him, or are you sitting down at the table as well?
Oh, definitely not sitting at the table, so I'll be behind him.
Okay. And now this clockwork cat at your feet, Captain Fisk, has started to tick.
So here's what I'd like to do. I'm willing to spend a story point. I'm going to go ahead and do so. So this thing's at my feet. I want to kick it as hard as I can, like across the table, like so underneath the table towards the other captain. And as I'm doing so, I want to basically just decide to rock back enough, far enough back in my chair to basically just start to fall. And as I do so, use both of my feet to upend the table.
Okay, so I just want to make sure I get this right. You're kicking the cat under the table towards them, so they're on that side.
Yep.
And you're going to kick the table over
As a barrier.
so and you're going to fall basically on your
flat
back
on
in
my
the chair.
back. Yeah. So what,
And story
what do you
point.
Yes, story point, please.
Sounds good.
And then what do you want me to roll to see if I can do this or not?
Well, roll I think it's athletics or it's coordination.
I have athletics.
Yeah, I think it would be. Yeah, you're not really trying to land safely or anything. So
No.
I'm going to say like it's kind of a mixture between the two. So you can either use athletics or coordination, but then use your brawn because that is ultimately what matters in this case.
Okay, then I'm definitely going to use athletics because I have 3 ranks in that.
Okay.
So that's 3 yellow and my brawn is 4, so 1 green. against the difficulty of 3, 2.
3.
3.
Say 3.
Okay.
But I am going to give you a boost die because you did use a story point to
Okay.
set all this up and to go with it. So
Okay. Here we go. Pucker up, everybody. Okay. I have to get to the cheat sheet. Okay, let's see. That's a lot of advantages. Let's see. These cancel out advantages, so those go. So there's three advantages so far. Okay, good. Okay, so it's 3 advantages total and 1 success. The rest was all washed out. So 3 advantages and 1 success. Oh, wait. Okay, so if it matters, I have a talent called Bulrush. The way that my short notes read is after a brawl or melee, oh, that wouldn't, combat check after maneuver, I can spend 3 advantages or a triumph to push 1 range away and not prone. So I don't think it would qualify in this situation.
no, not in this one.
Yeah. So 3 advantages and 1 success.
Okay, so you succeed in what you were trying to do, and you have 3 advantages.
Can I spend to see? Can I spend those in a way that makes sure that the cat is on the opposite side of the table?
Yeah, I would say that's, yeah, let's do that. So
Okay.
you managed to time it such that like it all worked out. The cat is actually on the other side of the table before it slams down. You are prone now on this side of the table. And maybe even managed to like push or something Captain Morneau and Captain Blackguard a little bit as the table came down. So they're a little bit taken back at this and will have a setback against their initiative dice, we'll say, when they go for it. And I believe with that action, that will cause us to go into initiative. So let's roll up our initiative, people.
Argus 2.
Argus 2.
Remind me how we do initiative.
So
Is it
initiative
vigilance?
in this case would be vigilance, because you guys
Okay.
we're not prepared for what's going on.
Okay. I got 3 advantages.
Okay.
It's been a while since I've had a tavern brawl. I'm
I know.
excited.
Okay, so what did we all get here? We have 1 success from Nicola, 1 success from Charlie, 3 success and an advantage from Ephraim. Sorry, what did Captain Fisk get?
3 advantages.
Just 3 advantages?
That's
Okay.
it.
And what did Argus get?
1 advantage.
1 advantage? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, so it is going to be, as I write it out here.
So, has the table been able to resolve itself while we're rolling into this? Meaning, does it look like it successfully shielded? Or do we know that yet?
Yes, yeah. Captain Fisk has made a barrier between himself and effectively the cat, I guess is what he's trying to do, because the table is going to be a barricade, but at this moment, anybody standing up is going to be able to see over it. But
Okay.
yeah, so that brings us to the first NPC slot. And I think with this, Captain Blackguard is looking down at the cat. So he is going to stand up and he is going to try and pick up the cat and throw it as far away from himself as possible. So he is going to try.
But he gets a disadvantage or whatever, a black die on that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not this thing. He did manage to succeed though. So he has got 2 successes, everything else washes away. So he manages to scoop up this cat and will throw it actually at the door that you guys would have come in. So it's as far away of him as possible at this point. That brings us to, because that was a maneuver, and he has not had time to draw his weapon, so that is where he's at. PC slot, number 1.
Nicola wants to, in the sudden noise and upheaval, Nicola wants to try and free Argus.
Perfect. Okay, so in this case,
and she wants to use her she's not trying to be sneaky about it. She's going to try and use her metal arm to the best.
And just kind of like slice it through almost
with the sharp metal bits.
Okay, yeah. So you can make me a brawl, do a brawl roll.
Okay.
So this would be, purple would be 2. If you are trying not to hurt Argus as you're doing it, you will take a setback die. But you can choose to not take it, but then Argus will take some damage.
She's a little mad at him. So yeah, she's not going to really care about hurting him.
Okay, so then no setback.
You didn't tell her what you were doing, so she's a little upset. Okay. So that's 2 purple.
Yeah.
Okay. I got 1 success, 2 advantage, and a triumph.
Okay, so triumph counts as a success. How much does your hand do? Like if you were punching, how much would it do? It says something.
So we agreed that it would be equal to brass knuckles.
Okay.
So that does +1 damage 4 crit, disorient 3.
Okay, and so your brawn is so I'm going to say that because you're not actually trying to punch him, but you're trying to slice through, it's going to do half damage of what it would be punch. So whatever half damage will be, that is what Argus is going to take.
So sorry, how do I do damage?
So it's brawn +1 in this case. And then an additional +1 because you got an additional success.
So
And
that's 6.
That's the wounds that I'll take.
Yeah. So what's your brawn? Sorry.
My brawn is 4.
4, 5, 6. So yeah, Argus, you will take 3 wounds.
Question. With me being gone, but obviously I'm tied up and beat up. What would I be at right now?
What is, I don't want to put too much on you at this point. I would say you'd be at 2/3. Sorry. You would have taken 1/3 of your wound level as wounds.
And then I would take what from Nicola?
3 minus your soak, whatever that happens to.
It is 3.
Okay, so then you don't actually take any. But Nicola, you said so you got a triumph and you said 2 advantage? Or
yes. 1 success, 2 advantage, and a triumph.
okay. So you get to spend that triumph and those advantage.
All right. Could I take the stress or the strain and perform another, like, could I like kick one of myself?
You could actually spend your 2 advantage to perform a free maneuver, so you could get to do something.
Yeah, I'll do that. And so does that mean would I be able to? She wants to dive behind Argus, like the chair.
So you freed him and then dive behind him. Yeah, that's perfect. You also have a triumph that you can spend.
Could the triumph be that I am temporarily out of sight from any of the other NPCs, or would that be too much? Like if they move, they could see me, but like where they are right now?
You can use it to say like to upgrade the difficulty of their attack on you. More than it is already, because you're going to be behind cover or whatever. So now they have it even more difficult to hit you.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, that will bring us to peace and next NPC slot. So I think this is the guards themselves around Argus. You did this and you dive behind the chairs. They immediately pull, in this case, yeah, they like their guns. They're going to pull their flintlocks. And they are going to try to shoot you, Nicola. Okay, so you have cover as well as you'll increase their difficulty.
I feel like furniture.
Yeah, you are.
This is exactly the kind of thing that you'd expect from like a Pirates of the Caribbean movie, though. You know, the poor bastard is like tied up in this chair between like all these people like fighting around him.
Hey, at least he's free.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
in Nicola's term, he's on even playing ground.
So they get a setback die because you have cover. Normally it would be a 2 difficulty, but you've upgraded the difficulty, so it's now a red and a purple. Do you have any defense on ranged attacks?
I don't know.
You do not. Okay. And just need to find the sheet. Okay. Damn it. Oh, that's a lot of successes. So they still manage to hit you, Nicola. They kind of all fire at you. Boom, 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 boom. You are going to take 6 damage minus your soak. But they have 2 threats as well. So you can decide how that is used against them.
So with a threat, what can I do? Like, can I give someone else?
You basically something against the opponents. You can make something happen against them, or describe something that's going to negatively impact like the enemy side, basically.
So I imagine that since they turn towards me, their back is now towards everyone else, which puts them at a greater because they're not facing them, so they would have like, it would give the other people some sort of advantage to hit them if they
Yeah, I
wanted.
would say it would give a boost die to the next PC that would target them, would get a boost die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that is okay. So now we're in another NPC slot. This will be the other guards. The ones by the So there's the ones by the door, and there's also a couple of the ones that are on the left-hand side. They will also ready their weapons, but one of the guards is going to try to grab the cat and throw it out of the room as the other guard is opening up the door. So we'll see if they can do that.
When can we spend story points? Does it have to be on our turn?
I guess it depends on what you're trying to do with it.
Can we spend another story point to have him fail and have it go off at the door? Or have it be more difficult for him? So like give him a setback die or whatever?
You could definitely use a story point to increase the difficulty for them.
Yeah. Okay, that's our third story point. Is everybody else okay with that? Or would you guys rather like it go out of the room?
I'm good with it.
So knowing what you guys know about explosives, because you did blow up a building or a ship, that room, if this thing goes off in the room, no matter where you're at in this room, you will probably take damage from
That's
it.
a fair point. Yeah, it would be a pretty big explosion. Okay. Yeah, I'll take that back.
Okay. So this will be difficult because they're trying to coordinate the opening the door, grabbing this cat, and throwing it out. But you're not increasing the difficulty. Okay. Okay, so they're left with a success and a triumph, and but 3 threat. So they do manage to open the door, throw the cat out. They have a triumph they get to spend, but there's also 3 threats that you guys could spend against them.
Maybe the one that actually was throwing it out doesn't get back behind the closed door in time before it goes off.
So he's actually, instead of throwing it out, he took it out with, like, he carried it out and the door slammed behind him.
Or like he's in the doorway, like throwing it out, and it goes off before they get the door shut, or the guy behind him just like slams into him and shuts the door, or I don't know. Just a thought.
I like that. They did get a triumph. So yeah, I kind of like the fact that maybe, okay, so they managed to slam the door. That's kind of the triumph. They managed to slam the door. So now there's a door between the cat and you guys. But unfortunately, the guy with the cat is on the other side of the door. He got pushed out with his, all's fair. Self-preservation, I guess, right? So that is that. And then Captain, yeah, right? Pirate. Captain Morneau, last to go on their side. She stands, pulls out her pistol, is aiming it at, I guess, you now, Charlie, because Fisk is down on the floor, kind of out of sight, as she backs up towards the door of the escape. And she is going to take a strain to open that door. That will bring us to so she grabbed and moved and opened. That will bring us to a PC slot.
I'm gonna shoot her.
Okay.
Okay.
In the face.
Okay. All right. So I have a 3 in agility and 3 pips in ranged. What do I roll?
So you will roll 3 yellows.
How many?
Because of where you're at, the range, I believe. The range modifier is you're not engaged. She is not engaged. I should know this, but I don't. Ranged is different than melee, so I would say you're at short range. So this is just a one purple.
I'm gonna use my Touched by Fate to add 2 blue die.
Okay.
Let's see what happens. Oh yeah. 3 success, 3 advantage.
Okay, so how much damage do? You have the pistol? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, flintlock.
Okay, so it's 6 plus you have 2 additional successes, so that'll be 8. 8 damage. So you managed to clock her. You notice you do hear a metallic sound as the bullet bangs into her. So you know she is wearing some sort of, most likely a cog suit as armor, which is fairly typical. And you have 3 advantages that you get to.
Can I use my advantages to try and help Fisk up?
Yeah.
Like grabbing you by like the collar of your shirt, trying to hoist you up while shooting this chick from across the room.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so that brings us to the next PC slot.
Do they also have blades at their sides? The guards?
Yeah. Swords and pistols. Right now they have their pistols drawn.
And they were shooting at Nicola,
Yes.
the one to me.
Yeah.
Can I burst forward and try to like tackle one and take this blade?
Yeah. Yeah. That will be a brawn. So it will actually be, I would say this for sure is an athletics roll.
Okay.
And it's going to go against theirs. It's going to be an opposed.
I have no athletics. Straight brawn.
Yeah, they don't either. So, all good.
And the
And
chevrons are advantage, not success, yeah?
Yes. And I'm going to give you a boost die because they are not expecting this.
A boost die. That's the
Yeah.
blue one?
A blue one, yeah. Wow, he rolled really bad. So, oh, that's because I'm rolling the wrong dice. Oops. Okay, there we go. Okay, so what did you get?
Okay, altogether, I got 4 advantage and 2 success.
4 advantage, 2 success. He got 1 success, 1 advantage. So that takes you down to 1 success and 3 advantage, more than him. So you have definitely succeeded in, if you wanted to knock him over, then you could have him knocked over with your 3 advantages. But you managed to take him down for sure.
Excellent. Yeah, I leap forward out of the chair that they had me tied in. I don't think they would have known that I was untied.
No, they weren't expecting it. I guess they saw her do something, but they were not expecting you to jump out so quickly. So.
And shoulder tackled the one guy, and we're on the ground, and I take his blade out of its sheath, and that will be my turn.
That will be your turn. Okay. So we have another PC slot. Who has not gone yet? Okay. Ephraim or Captain Fisk?
Ephraim, go ahead. I was getting up from the floor, so it makes sense that you'd act first.
Okay. Any of the guards still within 5 feet of each other?
Definitely the ones around Argus are all within 5 feet of each other.
But I would damage Argus if I threw Sliverjack at him.
I mean, nobody seems to mind harming Argus today. So.
Okay. You're in the midst of getting up, so I'm going to, with the left hand, I'm going to release the collapsible baton, and with my right hand, I'm going to pull forward my flintlock, and I look at Sliverjack and I say, "Don't fuck this one up. You might live." And I'm going to step up on the other side of basically the ones that Argus is engaged with. I'm going to put the flintlock to one of the guy's heads and pull the trigger, and the other one I'm going to hit him in the back of the head with the, you said there were 3, right? Or at least 2. I'm going to try to hit the other one with the collapsible baton.
Yeah, so of the 3 that were around Argus, one is on the ground because Argus just tackled him. And so there's 2 others that are standing upright.
Okay, so I'm, putting the flintlock pretty much up to his head. And then the other guy, I'm trying to whack him in the back of the skull.
Okay, so you are going to, so you're kind of doing a 2-weapon combat. This is the first time we've got to do this, so this is exciting. It's a little bit of a different way to do this. First, you designate one of your weapons to be your primary weapon, if that's going to be your gun. Okay. Okay, so you compare your skills that you use to make the attack with a weapon. Okay, so you're trying to hit with a baton and you're trying to hit with a pistol. It says you take, so one of those is going to use melee, one is going to use ranged. But because you're doing 2-weapon combat, you use the one that has the lower ranks for both of them. So what is your melee and what is your range?
So my melee is going to be 1 yellow and 2 green,
And
as opposed to 3 yellow. So
okay, so for both of these attacks, you're going to be using 1 yellow, 2 green.
Okay. How many? What's the difficulty on that?
So then you look at the difficulty, and so in this case, the difficulty for both of them is the same. It would have been 2 purples for the same. So you would have 2 purple, but then you increase the difficulty by 1. So in this case, it'll be 3 purples.
Okay. Did I get a blue from any of the advantages that were flying around?
You get a blue because this is the group that Nicola did that on.
Excellent. Thank you, Nicola.
Okay, so if you succeed, so this is going to be really important about keeping track of how many advantages and stuff. If you succeed, then you're going to hit with your primary weapon as per normal, and then you can spend 2 advantage to hit with the secondary one.
Okay, so in this case, I got 3 success, 3 advantage, but I got 2 threat and 2 failure, so it comes out to 1 success and 1 advantage. So unfortunately, I don't have the advantages to expend on that.
Yeah, so what's going to happen is you're going to hit with the gun. So that one is going to succeed, and it's going to do its in this case, it's base damage because you just got the 1 success. So base damage. So I believe flintlock is 6.
Yeah.
And you have an advantage you can spend because the second, your baton, you just missed. It was too hard to actually hit the guy with the baton as well. So you did 6 damage.
How about I say that because of the advantage, the guy has had to lean way out or something, and Argus now has a better, or anyone attacking him has a better shot at him or something like that.
Yeah, the next ally will get a boost die. So in this case, it'll be Fisk because he's the only one left to go. But you can describe, well, the guy you shot, he falls to the ground. So you can describe how that actually plays out.
Okay, kind of in as Ephraim steps up, he grits his teeth, and he at the last second, the right cheek kind of smiles a little bit, getting a weird pleasure out of it, as it kind of slows down and the flintlock catches, and there's a small spark and then an explosion of flame, and just the whoomph as the blast comes out, and it's almost muffled as it just wraps around one side of his head as the other side seems to erupt in the results of the contents of said skull. As the guy is, the inertia of the movement carries him over probably 5 feet, and he slumps to his side just unceremoniously as he turns to the other guy and flicks out the collapsible baton. But when he does so, the baton almost loses out of his hand, and he sort of, so it's a wide swing, but the guy ends up having to lean wide because of it.
Perfect.
Question for you about Sliverjack.
Yeah.
Is he going to help, or is he going to die? I'll leave that up to you.
Yeah. We'll do the last PC slot, and then I will describe what happens between rounds.
All
so,
right.
Mr. Fisk. Captain, sorry.
You better be. Yeah, I didn't spend 4 years in Naval Academy to be called Mr. No,
yes, you
did. I would like to use my Bulrush talent now.
Okay.
After I make a brawl or a melee combat check, after performing a maneuver, I have to see if I can get 3 advantages or a triumph in order to do the second step. But so I want to now that I'm kind of back on my feet with Charlie's help, I want to turn and like duck low and grab the table and pick it up and literally just ram Captain Blackguard with it.
Okay, nice. Okay.
And just try to push him all the way back into the whatever's behind him, the wall or what have you.
So difficulty is 2 purple.
Okay. And this is going to be brawl
This will
or
be
melee.
Sorry, that's lost connection.
This is going to be melee. Because you are using a weapon, but you're using an improvised weapon. I'm going to consider this a large improvised weapon. So before we decide that, is your brawn at least 4?
My brawn is 4.
Okay, so you are able to pick this up and do this. Okay.
Okay. My melee is also 4.
Okay, nice.
So 4 yellow,
Yep.
2 purple. Is there anything for it being improvised?
No, it's just
Setback
going to
die?
do X amount of damage.
Oh, okay.
But you do get a boost die because of
Oh,
Ephraim's.
yes. Sweet. Thank you, Ephraim. Okay, so I'll need to re-roll the yellows. Ooh, okay. So let's see. That's going to cancel that out. That's going to cancel. Sorry. Oh, come on now. Where's my cursor? What are you doing? All right. That is a cancel. So I have a triumph, an advantage, and 3 successes. So 4 successes total, one of which is a triumph, and then an advantage.
Okay, so 4 successes. So you're going to do, so you said your brawn is 4.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a table, so it's +3. So that's 7, plus you have an additional 3 successes. So we're talking 10 damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you got enough advantage to do your Bulrush, but you did have a
But I did have a triumph.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can use that to you can make it a crit. You can thing to be a crit, or you can use your Bulrush.
And what does the crit do?
A crit would make it so that he has to roll. Well, you would roll on the crit injury chart to see what would happen to him.
Okay. Or I could Bulrush him. Okay, so I think I'm going to go with the Bulrush instead.
Okay.
I'd like to push him back into whatever's behind him.
It will be the wall, beside the
then
door.
I'm just going to slam him right into the wall, between the wall and this table. And it says that he ends up prone as part of the Bulrush.
Oh, nice. So I can imagine this table just hits him and knocks him off guard in such that not only is he getting hit by that table, but then he probably, from the force of it, is knocked into that wall, probably on his head, because you're doing a lot of damage, and kind of slumps to the ground. He's not unconscious or anything. He is just down on the ground. That was a solid hit.
And then, so now that, that's the table's kind of splintered into pieces, slamming him up against this wall. Fisk then reaches into his coat and produces this long handle and presses a button on it, and the blade that is the length of the handle kind of folds out and snaps. I have quick draw, so I can draw a weapon as an incidental.
Perfect. Okay, so that happens. Sliverjack, he when you whisper into his ear and those words, and you pull out your guns and your weapons, this guy, he is not he was not prepared for this to go this way, and he literally is down on the corner, on the ground, kind of cowering behind you now, just kind of trying to keep the sound and everything away from whatever is happening to him, and just kind of huddling there. And you hear outside the door a humongous explosion, and it rattles that door that leads to the tavern proper, shakes it in its moorings there. And then you hear the screams, and it almost sounds like shouts and yelling, but not of pain and I mean, you do hear some of that, the pains and screams of that, but it also sounds like orders and yelling. You cannot hear the words, but there is some other commotion coming in through that door as well. That will bring us to the first NPC slot. That will be Captain Morneau. She had that door open, the one that was behind her, and she is gone. She is holding the arm or wherever you hit her, Charlie, and she is out that door and will disappear around the corner, out of sight. So at this point, you know she's left the room. You're not sure where she has gone. First PC slot.
Would Nicola be able to see that from where she is?
You would see her leaving, but you wouldn't see where she went when she left the door.
but she would see that she had left.
Yeah.
Nicola is going to charge after Morneau.
Okay. Nicola, you disappear out the door. I'm going to, and that's what will happen there.
When I go out, do I see her?
Yeah, you'll be able to see her and follow.
Would I be able to take some strain to catch up with her and be able to like grab her, or is that out of my reach?
You would not be able to. You could catch up to her, but you wouldn't be able to grab her, or you could take the strain to shoot at her. You didn't have that gun, did you? No.
I don't have
Yeah.
any gun.
So you could take strain to catch up to her, but you wouldn't be able to grab her.
Okay. I will take the strain to catch up with her.
Okay. So you will take 2 strain.
Okay.
Okay, that will bring us to NPC slot. This will be Captain Blackguard. He is going to I think he will stand up from where you have flung him down to the ground. And he is going to shoot at you, Mr. Fisk, Captain Fisk.
Yeah, I've learned he doesn't like that very much.
Do you have any ranged defense?
No, I do not.
Oh. I keep dropping my dice. Okay. So this might hurt then. Yeah, that's a lot. I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 5. So that's 5 successes, one of which is a triumph. And he has 2 advantage. So that is 11 damage minus your soak.
Of which I have 4. So I'm going to take 7
You're going to take 7.
wounds. I had 2 already.
So you're at
From
9.
last time. So yeah, that's at 9. Ow.
And then he's going to use the 2 advantages to perform a free maneuver and leave. He is going to run out that door. Okay, so we're left with Argus. You are on top of that one's still alive because there's those guards there. There's 2 guards, one that you are on top of, and you have his sword, and the other one that was there, and one of the guys by the door is now also aiming at you. So.
Okay. I would like to take the blade from the guy that I just took it from and push it like into his stomach, but up into his like sternum, and try to stab his heart.
You can do that on your turn, but meanwhile you're getting shot at.
Oh, I thought you were saying it's my turn. My bad.
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, you're being shot at. You are, I'm not going to consider you prone because you tackled the guy, but I can't imagine that you tried to put yourself like lying on top of him. You were just knocking him over. So.
Yeah, I imagine we're kind of like rolling around.
Okay. And there's 3 of them. Ooh, these dice are hot. Okay, so that's 3 successes, one of which is a triumph. So you are going to take 8 points as this. Oh, wait a second. You have a sword, right?
I do, yes.
Doesn't matter. Sorry, that's against melee. So you take 8 points minus your soak.
Okay.
Okay, and then he got a triumph. He's actually, this is going to make you roll on the crit table.
Let me find that crit table.
Yeah. So you need to roll a D100.
Okay. They are. 21.
21?
Mm-hmm.
Off balance. You will have a setback on your next skill check.
Excellent.
Okay. Also mark down that you have critical injury 21. Because it matters. Now, when you took the damage, that didn't put you above your wound threshold, did it?
Not quite yet.
Okay, so that's fine.
No, it's against melee. Never mind.
Okay.
Where do I mark down the? I guess right here in the notes.
Yeah, just somewhere, because what you have is a critical injury that's got to be healed. You will only take this penalty on the next once, but a critical injury from now on is going to add 10 to the die for every critical injury you've already succeeded at, like that you have, but that you haven't healed.
Gotcha.
Okay. That brings us to the last NPC slot. This is the other guards, the ones that are by the door, which are also those guys. So Charlie, I believe they're going to aim at you. Do you have any defense against ranged? Oh, okay. Okay, so that is 2 successes and a threat. So you are going to take 7 points as a bullet finds its way, minus your soak. But they have 1 threat against them. So in this case, these guys are minions. So you could spend the threat to suffer a strain, which means they actually would take a wound damage instead. So like as they're firing, maybe one grazed another, and they take a damage if that's.
Yeah, I can't afford to take the strain.
No, it's not you. Like there's a threat. Like they have a threat. So. unless you want to do something else with the threat, but that would actually damage them.
Let's damage him then.
Okay. Yeah. So they shoot you, and one bullet finds its way, but another one maybe is the powder burns a little funny or whatever. But either way, he takes a damage himself. So one of them takes damage while you are shot, and that is the last NPC slot. So this brings us to another PC slot. Who would like to take that one?
Would, if nobody minds. So yeah, I'd like to do what I was talking about a minute ago. While I'm getting shot at, take the blade and stab this guy in the gut to take him out.
Okay, so
looking
at the difficulty will be 2, but the guy is prone. So I think that matters actually.
So I have a talent called Duelist, which adds 1 boost to melee checks for me when I'm with a single opponent, and adds 1 setback to them against 1 setback to 3 or more. Okay.
Yeah, so if there's 3 or more on you, then you take a
Yes.
setback.
But if it's just me and 1, I get a boost.
There is technically 3 on you.
I should have kept my mouth shut.
Yeah, because they're minions, so well, no, their minions are counted as 1, so they're technically 1 on you.
Okay, so I get the boost or no?
Yeah.
Okay. And
Plus you
melee
get
is-
a boost because he's prone. The guy you are actually attacking is prone.
Cool. So 2 boosts.
Yeah.
I have 2 brawn and 3 melee. So
2 yellow, 1 green.
2 yellow, 1 green. Plus 2 blue.
And 2
Plus
purple.
2 purples. Okay, let's add all this up. 2 threats. 1 success, 1 critical success. What is that?
If it's a success with a ring around it, it's a triumph.
Triumph. 1 triumph, 1 success, 1 advantage. No, 3 advantage. Sorry.
Okay, so that is and you're doing it with your sword, right?
Yes.
3 plus your brawn. What's your brawn?
2.
2. So it'll be 5 plus an additional 1 because you got an additional success. So that's 6 points of damage that you're dealing this guy. Minus the soak.
Take that.
Okay, but you also have 3 advantage and a triumph. So the triumph is you could actually you could spend that to do a crit on him, but you could also spend 2 of your advantages to do a crit.
I'll take the triumph for a crit.
Okay, so roll on the crit chart.
55.
55. So you gave him a fearsome wound. Sounds very fitting.
Damn right I did.
Increases the difficulty of all presence and willpower checks by 1, which may or may not matter, but he's got this critical wound on him. Fearsome wound.
With the advantages, would it be possible to kind of like roll him in the way of the guy that's shooting at me? like Nicola did to me? You know, kind of hide behind him.
Yeah, you can basically, yeah. So let's say you roll behind, roll him, and you can gain a +1 on one of your defenses. So you can say +1 against ranged if you'd like.
Okay.
Yep.
I would like to do that.
Perfect. Okay, it brings us to the next PC slot.
So I'm still standing next to Argus, right? Just took one of them out and missed the other one.
Yes, and you're kind of above him. He's kind of crouched below you, and he has just managed to he has stabbed the guy that he is engaged with and is using him as a meat shield.
Okay. So there's a body about 5 feet away from me with a gun in its belt. Yay or nay? A flintlock?
Yeah, it would have been in his hand at the time, so it's probably on the floor beside him somewhere.
Do I see it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna drop my baton at the moment, hand off my flintlock, and just flip it over as I'm kneeling down and grab the other flintlock. Is there another one close by?
Another flintlock or another person?
Enemy. You said there was 4 guards or 3 guards?
Yeah, there was 4 around on this side, so there are 3 left standing, one of which has Argus just stuck with the sword. So there's 2 others that aren't.
So I would imagine that Argus has probably got this guy pretty close and he's still stuck with the sword in his gut. But there's a sliver between them?
Yep.
All right. I'm going to fire between them.
Okay.
Sorry, Argus. And I'm going to do the same thing, except this time at the butt of my pistol, trying to whack the other guy.
So you're not trying to hit the guy that's actually right in Argus's face. You're trying to do the other 2? Is that what?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, since this is both, so you're trying to hit one as like a club almost?
Yeah, I'm using the handle of it to club him against like the temple.
Yeah. So it'll be whatever is your worst melee or range. Whatever we figured out last time. It's the same kind of roll.
Yeah. Okay, so I ended up with 2 threat, but I got 3 successes.
So 3 successes, 2 threat. Okay, so
man, that offhand attack just isn't working for me.
It's not working. It's taking all of your effort to aim that you keep missing with the offhand. But 3 successes means you will do. This is a pistol, so 6, 7, 8,
Yep.
8 points of damage. Minus. So you can describe how the one you shot, how he dies.
All right, so as I hopped up and I looked over at Argus, and he kind of just, I would imagine he's grunting and he just kind of glances out of the corner of his eye like, what the hell are you doing? As this eruption of flame goes off between the 2 of them, and the bullet just flies through and hits the other guy probably in the chest area, and he kind of does this flip and just lands on his side. And then I turn and I try to whack the other guy, but unsuccessfully.
This is all over. I feel like getting a stern talking to.
I think for the 2 threat, what's going to happen with that is because you actually shot like so close to Argus's face and ears and stuff that you have temporarily like stunned him a little bit. He is going to get a setback die on his next action as he recovers. And that will bring us to PC slot. So there's 2 people left who have not gone.
I'm sorry. Really? Did you say the NPC or Argus with the setback?
Argus is going to have a setback die.
Riley, you want to go?
Sure. I am going to attempt my Fear the Shadows talent to make a hard deception check to force the enemy to flee.
Okay. Who are you aiming that at?
I know the captains ran. Both captains have run, and we got just minions here.
Yeah.
I'm going to target as many minions as I can.
Okay, so there's 2 groups. There's the group on Argus, which is now down to 2. And then there's the other group, which still has their full 4.
I'll do the full 4 then.
Okay. So it is a hard deception? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Sorry, they only have 3 because one guy is outside.
I have the smooth talker talent for deception, but I don't remember what that did. I think that was actually in the book.
Would you say smooth deception
Smooth talker.
or smooth talker? What tier?
Oh, it's right here. It's right here.
Okay.
Spend. Oh, gotcha. I can spend triumphs to add successes.
Equal to your ranks, which if you're only taking it once, it will be a triumph for a success.
I have 2.
A 2 rank, so a triumph will equal 2 successes.
That's
in additional to the success that a triumph already.
Yeah.
gives you,
So I have 4 cunning and 2 pips in deception. Is that 3 yellows?
So that would be 2 yellows, 2 greens. And then hard is 3 purple.
Oh, so many. 2 success, 1 triumph, and 1 advantage.
2 success, 1 triumph, 1 advantage. So have you counted that triumph in the success as well already?
No.
Okay, so that's technically 3 successes,
3
1
successes.
triumph, and 1 advantage. So you do have that triumph that you could make, give yourself 2 more successes if you want.
I'll do that.
Okay, so that's 5 successes and 1 advantage. And what was your ability? Fear the
shadows, which just causes them to flee, I believe. Make a hard deception check to force the enemy group to flee.
Yeah, so I guess you succeeded quite handily. So do you know what? It doesn't matter. Yeah, so on their, when they get a chance to go, they will flee the scene.
I have effectively removed my mask.
Yeah, that's horrifying. Apparently. These guys are screaming, oh dear. Okay. Last PC slot.
So,
and actually, you got 1 advantage, so you could use that to heal a strain if you've taken strain damage. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Jeremy, go ahead.
No, not at all. Okay. So Captain Blackguard has exited the back door.
Yes. So Captain Morneau left first, followed by Nicola, followed by Blackguard.
Okay. So Fisk walks back over to where he had fallen over in the chair to pick up the blunderbuss that he had with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he walks over to this back door and just kind of like takes a knee right at the back door. So is that 1 maneuver? Is that like a move maneuver?
To do the moves, I would say, but you're also picking up an item, so
I have quick draw, if that makes a difference.
okay, yep, then that would make that an incidental. So you've just done a maneuver. Yeah.
So if I aim, is that a thing in Genesis?
Yes, you can aim, and that will give you you would get
boost
on your next check.
Okay. And I would take 2 strain for taking a second maneuver if I then also wanted to attack.
Yeah, you would take 2 strain if you wanted to attack this turn.
Because the aim is a maneuver.
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
It's a maneuver. So you've moved and then you do a maneuver.
Which requires 2 strain, and then I can also attack.
And then you can attack with 2 strain, yeah.
Okay, cool. So I will take the 2 strain.
Okay.
And we'll aim. Take my time as I take a knee to aim this blunderbuss at him. So this is a ranged.
Yep. And in this case, he is going to be medium distance from you, so that will be 2 difficulty.
Okay. A blunderbuss has long range, so that just means it's capable of reaching that?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So, all right, help me out here. Ranged is based off of agility. I have 4 ranks in ranged, but I only have a 2 agility.
So you have 4 dice total, 2 of which will be yellow.
Okay, so 2 green, 2 yellow. 2 purple, because you said it's...
Yep, 2 purple, and then your boost die.
Okay, I get the boost die, but I also have tenacious. After I hit somebody with a combat check, I can add a blue die to all my checks on the same target. So that should qualify me for a second blue die, since I smashed the table into him.
Yes, yep, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Oh, and I'm sorry, you're also going to have to roll 1 setback die because of his armor.
Okay. We'll do so. Okay, cool. That came up with nothing. So let's see. Wow. Holy cow. Okay, not a single failure.
Whew.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes and 1, 2, 3 advantages.
So blunderbuss, how much damage does that do? What's the base?
It does 8.
So 8 plus 4 additional, so it's going to do 12 damage.
Yeah.
12 damage. Okay. Oh, so you shoot him basically in the back, and you can see him stumble, and it's almost like he was going to lose you almost spin him around a little bit, and he kind of loses his balance, but he does not fall, and he continues to run.
All right.
And you got what, 3 advantage, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could.
Let's see. What do I got?
Can it effectively slow him down in any way?
Negate his defense, ignore environment, disable opponent or gear instead of damage. I definitely don't want to do instead of damage. Target drops hand contents. I don't think he's holding anything.
He's got his flintlock pistol, but that's...
Oh, I'll spend 2 to perform a free maneuver.
Okay.
To move after him.
Okay.
And then I'll use the last remaining advantage to recover 1 of my strain.
Okay. Fair enough. That brings us to the end of this round. We have seen 3 captains and Nicola leave that back door. There's stuff going on both sides of the room. And at that moment, as Captain Fisk disappears out of your sight, the door behind you bursts open, and the Verdicappas start flooding into the room. We're going to stop here mid-combat because we have a couple players that need to get going. So I'm going to write down the status of everything because there's a couple of setbacks, etc., that are going on. But that's where we're going to start off next time. Is right in the thick of things.
That's the best way to start things off.
Right? So thank you everyone for playing. Thank you everyone who is watching or will watch this in the future. This has been Years with our ongoing campaign, Black Sails in Dark Skies. I'm going to let everybody do their outros. We've changed positions, but so I'm going to start here. Baron, take us on out.
If you're not first, you're still first. I'm Baron. I played Charlatan Charlie. I have a hideous face. Come watch my stuff on my YouTube channel. I'll see you there.
Next, we have Megan.
Hi, I'm Megan. I am one half of the YouTube channel Dice on Ice, and I had a great time, and I can't wait to see what kind of shenanigans happens next, with us being in between rock and hard place.
Aptly put. Next, we have Jeremy.
Hello, everybody. Once again, I am Jeremy. I do have a YouTube channel. It's called The Erasmus Expeditions. Go check us out. It's never a bad time playing a pirate. It's always an exciting genre to kind of get into and get to kind of exercise that I'm going to be a nasty, dirty asshole for a little while. So it's great to do it with these assholes. No, no, I love these people. I get along with all these people so well. I consider them close friends of mine as well as fantastic gamers. So getting the chance to do this, even if it's just once a month, is a blast. So glad that Jason is now back with us, even if he suffered a lot of abuse. Some of it may be at the hands of his friends, but who's counting? So, yeah, thank you very, very much for having me, and I can't wait till next time.
Every session has been, it's amazing what you guys do and what you guys throw back at us. I have so much fun every single time. So thank you for all that. And Jason, thank you. You're back. Yay.
I'm back and getting my ass kicked.
I have green.
Yes, you have the green. I'm teaching my son how to roll these dice. So far, he's got 2 successes and 3 advantages. So he's doing not that bad. I'm Jason. I was the beaten and bruised and neglected Argus Sheffley today. Argyle to some. I have a YouTube channel. It's not seen any action in a very long time. I hope to correct that at some point in the near future. Smith Forge Gaming is what it's called. Come check it out. I got a couple of live plays up there. I love playing with every single one of these people. They're beautiful people, beautiful role players, and I have a blast every time I play with them. Yeah, look forward to seeing what happens now that we're getting bum rushed by what I think is the city guard. Yeah.
I got more.
Hot in the action. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time. I know you got more.
Thank you, Jason. Yeah, these are worse than the city guard. In fact, this is the local, well, not even local military. This is the state military, essentially. So they're not so friendly. And last but not least, we have Dave.
Yeah, Delaney, just winning friends and influencing people. So, yeah, Argus is going to be hating me, but that's okay. I figured I was probably going to get punched for every time I called him a cunt. But
I have green.
Get in line.
Drink. Yeah, I'm Dave with Mornblade Gaming. I love playing with these guys, every single one of them. And yeah, that's me. I get to go play a game of D&D tonight, so I'm excited about that too. So,
Great. Thank you, guys. Thank all of you. You guys are amazing to have as players, and I enjoy every single session that we do this. So cannot wait till next month where we see what's going to happen to you guys. So thank you everyone for watching, and this is us signing off.